This is a very different video than anything I've ever posted on this channel because I'm going to talk to you about working with buyers. And I'm going to give you a 12-point blueprint so you can have ready, willing, and able buyers to choose to work with you and pay your commission versus everyone else. Stay with me till the end. You're going to know exactly what to do to get ready, willing, and able buyers to sign that buyer agreement and agree to pay you. Now, I teach real estate agents to be listing agents and work with sellers. Why? Because that is how agents can make the most amount of money for the time that they invest. And at the same time, I recognize that there is a definite need for buyer's agents. And if you're going to choose to work with buyers and you follow the points that I'm going to lay out for you in this video, you will be very successful. So before we start, let's look at where things are at. Let's understand what it's like to be a buyer's agent in 2024. Something very interesting happened after the $418 million settlement in the NAR class action lawsuit. Josh Sitzer, the lead plaintiff, started a company named Landian that offers flat fee on-demand services for buyers, and buyers can pay $49 for a showing or $199 to have an offer prepared. Not negotiation, just offer preparation. Now, I know that a lot of buyers agents have been very concerned about this NAR settlement and all the changes it feels certainly like buyer's agents are under attack. So I wrote down 2 questions and I want you to think about this. To use these a la carte services, such as this company Landian that Josh Sitzer started, buyers have to find the property first. Like, okay, $49 for a showing. What property do you want me to show you? They got to go out and find the property. So if they're having to find the property, which certainly they can do it online, why not just call the listing agent? Why pay $49 to go see a property? The listing agent will show it to you. Second question is, will buyers get the same results using this type of company if they choose to, instead of using a, say, typical buyer's agent? The reality is that buyer's agents that only open doors and write offers, they're providing no value to buyers. And they should be worried about these changes, because if that's all you do, well, this is going to be a brutal awakening here. So this video, we'll talk about that. How do you stand out so those ready, willing, and able buyers, as I said in the beginning, choose to work with you and pay your commission? I actually see this NAR settlement as a positive and huge opportunity for buyers agents for 5 reasons. Number 1, agents now have to pre-qualify buyers right from the beginning. And this is great because now buyer's agents will not waste so much time with people that are not ready to buy. Amazing. Number 2, positive change. Buyers have to sign a buyer agreement. And if they're not ready, willing, and able, they're not likely to actually sign this. If they're out there just like, oh, I just want to see what's out there, they're going to think twice before signing it. Saving agents so much time Number 3, most buyers will not sign this agreement if they're not ready, willing, and able. Now, could some do it anyway? Yeah, I believe most buyers will not sign it. So it's all positive. 4th reason, the agreement includes the amount of commission the buyer's agent will get paid, which forces the agent to learn how to convey their value to buyers. And number 5, this actually adds a level of clarity and commitment that didn't exist before. So this is really actually very good for the real estate industry. Let's move on to how do I get buyers to pay me to help them buy this property? Let's face it, real estate agents are a dime a dozen. I don't care where you're selling real estate. And so the big question is, why should they choose to work with you? Here's the 12-point blueprint. Point number 1, I wrote down. Real estate agents don't get paid for their time. They get paid for the results they produce. So the question is, what value and results do you bring to the table when you're working with buyers? This is a critical question, and I'm going to answer this question for you. In essence, why should they pay you to represent them? What's the return on the investment for them? This is a critical question, without which buyer's agents will not get paid. And I wrote down an example, something for you to think about. Think about a financial consultant or a financial advisor. They have to convey a high level of certainty that if you make this investment that they're proposing to you, you will get a return on your investment. Because if you don't have that high level of certainty, you're not going to invest. As a buyer's agent, you have to do the same thing. Convey your value by producing results that buyers would not be able to have on their own. Or with companies like Landian. Number 2, buyers have problems that can cost them literally tens of thousands of dollars. And a great buyer's agent can solve those problems for them. So your initial consultation with a buyer is a problem presentation. They may not think that they have any problems, but you and I both know as real estate agents that problems do come up in real estate transactions, and these problems cost them a lot of money, can potentially be tens of thousands of dollars. Point number 3, think about this. People don't just want to buy a house. Everyone wants to get a great deal on the right house. This is the result that buyers are willing to pay for, not to just have you open the door and write an offer. Number 4, your strongest asset as a buyer's agent is your ability to negotiate the best price and best terms on the perfect home for the buyer. The home buying process can be really simple and really easy when buyers work with a knowledgeable professional agent. That's who you need to be. If you sell your services on, I'll help you find the perfect house, that's not enough anymore. They can find the perfect house on their own. It may take them a little bit of time, but they can find it. Getting the best deal on the perfect house is how buyer's agents will earn and more than make up for the commission they charge. You better be writing these things down. Point number 5, be a great negotiator by knowing how to communicate with listing agents and get the buyer the best deal possible. And I wrote down 5 things under point number 5. Be strong in negotiating the best price and best terms for the buyer. I'll tell you how in a minute. Be strong in negotiating concessions for the buyer. Strong in negotiating inspection repairs, walkthrough issues, and negotiating any disputes that may come up at the closing table. Point number 6, you must thoroughly understand and use market stats to negotiate the best price and terms. Here are some things for you to become a master of. Is the inventory in your area, and even more specifically where this property is located, general local market, but also the particular area where this property is located, is the inventory going up or down? You better know that. How are mortgage rates affecting your local market? And home prices, specifically in the buyer's price point. What is the average days on market? All of these items actually speak to market conditions that will help you negotiate. Are there properties where seller financing is available, or where the seller will consider an equity interest financing? As a buyer's agent, those are such powerful value items that you bring to the table. Negotiating comes down to communication, your ability to communicate powerfully and effectively, and data. These items that I mentioned to you here, data. What evidence can you provide to leverage your position on the price, on the repairs, on the appraisal? Give you an appraisal example. Seller is asking $500,000. Buyer wants to offer $450,000. What stats, data, closed sales, inventory, what evidence can you provide to justify the $450,000? You can't just write an offer for $50,000 less and say, well, that's just what the buyer can pay, or that's what they're willing to pay. It's not enough. Again, your job is to negotiate the best price and terms for the buyer. Here's a script that you could actually use with buyers when you're knowledgeable, professional, skilled. Mr. Buyer, someone is going to walk away with a great deal for their client. Whose client is that going to be? I am confident that when you work with me, you will be the one walking away with a great deal. Powerful stuff. You got to be able to deliver it. Point number 7, acquire tools to negotiate the best financing terms for your buyers by building relationships with lenders. This is critical. Lenders that offer products that incentivize buyers to move forward. Lenders that get things done. If you've been, again, in real estate for a little while, you know that most lenders don't. You have to have these relationships that you can connect your buyers with. Example, getting pre-approvals as quickly as possible. That's important. Your buyer is in a strong position to negotiate. Getting a desktop underwriting ASAP also. Think about this. You will see this when you really start to seek and develop these relationships. The difference between a 6.5% rate versus a 7% on a $400,000 loan is approximately $48,000 over a period of 30 years. Do you have relationships with lenders that offer the best deal possible? Very, very valuable to buyers. Point number 8, title companies, closing agents' fees. A few $100s here and there, they add up. It's money that adds up, and title companies and closing agents' fees, they have to be paid upfront at closing. Point number 9, assist in resolving appraisal issues. It requires you to be a master of your market, of stats, and know exactly what's going on. Some appraisers don't work in certain areas, and by speaking with them and offering your expertise in the area and providing comparables for them, that could actually make a difference in the appraised value of properties. Number 10, knowing the inventory inside and out and leveraging days on market. Identifying homes that have been on the market for a long time. That's leverage for your buyers. Homes that have been on and off the market. Overpriced homes, the ones that have been sitting on the market for a long time. Expired listings that have not relisted yet. Cancels, withdrawn listings. See, by knowing the inventory, being able to connect your buyers to some of these properties that are no longer on the market, cancels, withdrawals, expireds, and the ones that have been out there for a long time. Also, prospect, cold call. Oh, I don't want to do that. It's incredibly valuable for buyers. You prospect in the area that the buyer wants to buy in. And you could actually, this is all stuff you're going to share with them in the initial presentation. And you will find sellers that want to sell. And you're also going to find some off-market properties that you could actually bring your buyers to that they wouldn't be able to find on their own. This opens up a lot of possibilities, again, that they wouldn't be able to find. Number 11, your initial meeting with buyers is critical. How you communicate and convey your value in this initial presentation is going to show the buyer what a strong negotiator you are, which is going to cause them to want to work with you. Here's a script for you to actually use it if you need it. Mr. Buyer, if an agent is willing to lower their commission up front, how strong can they possibly be when it's time for them to negotiate on your behalf? They're not strong. Mr. Buyer, I am a strong negotiator and I'm gonna protect your interests in the purchase of your home. And really, that is what you want an agent to do for you, isn't it? Point number 12. I love this one. The more homes a buyer's agent show a buyer, the less the buyer trusts that agent. A buyer's agent who is a true expert thoroughly pre-qualifies the buyer to understand exactly what they're looking for. And they know the inventory so well, like the palm of their hand, and they can take the buyer right to the property that they're looking to buy. They'll show them a handful of homes and they'll find the property they're looking for. That is how great buyer's agents work. And you have to gain knowledge of your inventory so you could be that agent. Now, I want you to think about this. Buyer's agents show the buyer 15, 20 properties. Think of the buyer in that situation. They're thinking, well, this agent doesn't know what they're doing. I mean, if they knew the market, they knew the inventory, they asked me questions, they know what I'm looking for, they wouldn't have to show me all of these homes. The more you show, the less they trust you. Now, I wrote this down. If the agent is wishy-washy, right? Instead of being strong in all of these items that I shared with you, they're just like, well, you know, let's see what happens. Let's see what they say. The buyer won't feel confident, won't trust that you're the right buyer's agent to help them. You're saying, well, let's see what happens. And they're thinking, I know what's going to happen. I'm going to get a bad deal. Let me move on and find somebody else to work with. In closing, I wrote down 2 things. Remember, doing it on their own is very time consuming, and they will not get the same results as if they work with you. And second, and this is critical, time is money. Time is definitely money. All homes look great on paper. They find it online. Oh yeah, this sounds really good, but they're not. And buyers can waste months and months searching online and looking for properties that it's not what they're looking for. And this last point ties right into the more homes you show them, the less they trust you. So those are all the points for you. Thank you for watching. If you have any comments or questions, make sure you put them in the link in the comments below. And I will see you on the next video.